Alright, so in this case I'm going to use two cards. I'm going to pick the 2 5s. Alright. Now can you please pick any card? Just touch one and take it out, please. Now you pick the Jack of Hearts. Alright. Now I'm just gonna put your selection right in between the 2 5s. Alright. To make it more visual, I'm gonna put your selection facing the opposite way. Okay. So it is more noticeable than the rest of the cards. Now it is well known that if you play with a top card and if you manage to see the white areas by moving the top card, if we are lucky enough, we can see that the only card that is stretching is your selection. There you have it over there. Now by snapping my fingers, we can put the card back together. Hello everyone, so in this video I will show you the Gimmick card. I will not explain how to build it because I already explained it in another video, and that video is called the Zig-Zag Card. Just go to the video footnote in the video description, the link number 1. So I don't have to take you all throughout the whole tedious process. The Gimmick card is this. These are 2 regular cards and this is the Gimmick card. All you need is a flap, a card with a flap. And as a matter of fact, I do have the Gimmick card that I use for a Zig-Zag card, which is exactly the same. Okay, there is only one difference, which is this little piece. Before you attach this little piece, the half of the piece, into the card, just turn it over to the right way. I explained in the other video, you need to cut these corners because of the direction of this card. It is imperative that you run them up. Over here, since this card for this routine is actually facing the right way, you don't have to cut the corners. That's the only difference. The little piece, before you attach it, you need to turn it over to the right direction. That's the only difference. So just go to this video footnote on the link number 1, and I'm going to explain all the details why you need to use the B or these red cup playing cards. And one last point before I explain the routine. In the other video I mentioned why it is important not to just fold the card like that. You need, with an X-Acto knife, to cut halfway down the thickness of the playing card. And if by any chance, like it happens to me, it is not perfectly square, it's not perfectly in half, and you just happen to miss by 1 millimeter over here, you have to perfectly match. So what I recommend, and now you can see over here I missed by 1 millimeter, what I recommend you to do is take the card and pull it down. Not much, just about 1 millimeter, okay? So you can perfectly align this edge. So when you fold it, you don't expose the other side of the card. It doesn't matter if you have an extra piece over here. So that's all I can say for this preparation of the Gimmick card. Just go to the video footnote so you can watch the tutorial. So the next, I will explain the performance. Okay, so as soon as you have the Gimmick card done, I have the Gimmick card, which is the 5 of clubs, all the way at the bottom. Notice, and this is very important, that the flap is never by any circumstances pointing towards the spectator. It's always towards me. Otherwise they may notice the thickness over here towards them, whether the card is with a flap over or not, or facing down or facing up. The flap is always pointing towards me, and I will explain how to do that throughout the process, which is quite easy anyway. The card, I force this card by using the classic force. You can use any other force, and if you want to learn how to do the classic force, just go to the video description on the link number 2. You can use these red cups or the big ones, but always show it towards the front, never in angle, because it's easier to see this little crease over here. So always towards the spectator. And like I said, I always begin with a flap towards me and with the Gimmick card all the way at the bottom. And as you can see anyway, these 3 cards, I hold them in a spread. I try not to keep them straight. This is really angle sensitive regarding the flap, because if you just show them like this, if the spectator moves just a little bit toward the side, they can see this little flap hanging over here. So always I try just to move it in angle against, so you can minimize the exposure of this flap over here. So when I show the cards, I let the flap fall down a little bit, not to fall all the way down, but I hold it up with the ring finger of this hand. The one is holding these 3 cards, so it doesn't flash from below. So I hold them with a ring finger. So with my other hand, the one is free, I put it right in between the card and the flap. So I can show these 3 cards straight like that. And notice, as soon as I remove these 2 cards to turn over the jack, so I don't want the spectator to see this extra thickness, so I just move this card a little bit. I tilt it in angle, just a little bit. I turn over the jack, and then the 5 once again. At this point, the flap is already open. As you're watching the performance, you can just give any excuse you want for a development of this performance. The point is, the real card, which is the one in the middle, is the one I'm pulling towards the spectator, and the gimmick card is the one I'm pulling towards me. So this is the situation. Okay, I try to pull these 2 cards as much as I can, or as long as this normal card is below the flap. So because of the thickness of the flap, it's gonna lock these 2 cards in position, concealed by this other normal 5. So what I do next is I push with the index towards the top. Otherwise, you don't make pressure. When you push them in, they will go back inside. You don't want that. You want to lock them in position. So just push these 5 gently, and from below and from above. So when you push this gimmick card towards the front, it's gonna push this jack towards the front as well. I try not to push these 2 cards all the way. Otherwise, this flap is gonna get stuck with a card on top. However, you don't wanna place your thumb over here. Just lift this card a little bit. Okay, so it doesn't go over the flap over here. So you can push back and forward. Don't show overkill too much. Just about 3 times pushing the card will be good enough. I leave it in the middle. I relax or remove my index, so there is no pressure from below or above either card. And I just try to unlock these 2 cards. There you go. And then close both cards at the same time at decent speed. And that's it. Just turn over these 2 cards. And notice this flap is always pointing towards me, as I explained. And then the thickness over here, I try to cover it. As you can see over here, I try to cover it with this hand in the process of flipping the jack back. Then I relax the fingers so the flap may fall halfway down. And then I turn over the 3 cards so the flap closes in the process of turning over the 3 cards. So one last time very quickly from the magician's view. Notice I have the gimmick card all the way at the bottom, the flap pointing towards me. I have the 3 cards in a fan. So this flap, it is held by the ring finger, the same finger that is holding these cards. The thumb goes in between the flap and the card. Turn them over, up to there. The card flips or tilt to hide or to conceal this thickness. So I can turn over the jack and turn over again the 5, the regular 5. Close everything and show or expose the back. And again, as I explained, you pull towards the audience the normal jack and you pull towards you the gimmick jack. Okay? So the flap is still pointing towards me. So I don't have to flash any thickness over here. And because I'm doing a small gently pressure with the index finger from below, you can push. See, you have to be careful with that. Sometimes I make pressure from the top as well, just to make sure they're unlocked, because of the thickness of the flap is what it allows the locking mechanism for both cards. So to ensure that these cards are not getting loose, always making pressure from above and below over here. Just once, twice. You can do this if you want. Always place the index above and move this card. It is a little risky because they may unlock, but that's going to be up to you. And then relax the pressure and see if they can go in at once. So because the flap is towards me, do not turn over the cards this way. Turn the cards this way, so the flap remain towards me. And I cover the thickness from this side, so show more towards the back of this hand, towards the spectator. So I can flip this one and this one, so I can conceal the thickness over here. In the process of turning over these 3 cards, the flap will relax, the thumb goes in between, so I can show the back towards the spectator, not in angle, because that may flash a little crease, as you can see over here. So always straight like this, and you can show all these 3 cards, and that's it. Actually, the old way I used to do this performance, it was using just the half of the card and stick it with any glue or double-sided tape behind this other one. If you think you can put it on and get rid of it for examination, that's going to be up to you. But I think this method, it will allow you the locking mechanism, which is going to give more reality to this performance. So that's going to be up to you. And that's it.